My name is Brent Hazard. I'm back with another story about practicing law in Mississippi. I've been practicing 20 years, and one of the things that most people don't know, when the state has a conflict, meaning let's say two people are arrested for cocaine in a car, they assign the public defenders, but then they have to assign a private attorney to represent the second person, so there's no conflict of interest. This is called court-appointed work. It's a great way for attorneys to get work, to keep the lights on, and also get some good trial experience. It's great for young attorneys. When I was a young attorney in Jackson, Mississippi, I got some work. I got assigned to a gentleman named Jermaine Jackson. And yes, Jermaine told me that his mom was a big fan of Jackson 5, and she wanted to have 5 children and name them each after the Jacksons. She had four boys, but the fifth one was Michelle instead of Michael. Came out a girl, kind of screwed up the Jackson 5, but everything worked out. Well, Jermaine was charged with aggravated assault. He was picked up on fines for tickets or something, and he had allegedly shanked someone in the Hinds County Detention Center. So they assigned me to go down there. Now, I had never been to the Hinds County Detention Center, and for those who do not know, the Hinds County Detention Center for 20 years has been subject to litigation because there's a lot of defects in the jail. It's where they hold prisoners for felony trials, or if there's any misdemeanors or things like that, they send them to Hinds County Detention Center. So I go down there in my suit to meet Jermaine. First thing you notice, you have to check in, and I have my coat and tie on and all that stuff. And you first walk in, they buzz you in, and a metal door slides, and it takes about 30 seconds to slide open, and it's and you're sitting there and you're like, this is taking a long time. And then the door opens and you proceed, and you go about 20 yards, and there's a second door. Okay, then you go down a long hallway. It's kind of in a circular pattern, so you're going down, and they tell you to go to C hub or B hub, or you're going and you find the letter and you look up, and there's another door. It takes about 30 seconds, and it's going through your mind, if something bad happens, it's going to take forever for these doors to open and take forever for these doors to close. So then your last door, you go through 4 of these, and you get to a hub. Now, a hub is basically a circle where they have the jail cells built around the prison guard. But the prison guard's hub has no doors. It's just open. So I go in there and I say, I'm Brent Hazard. I'm here to see Jermaine Jackson. He kind of looks at me. And the second thing you notice is not only there's no doors on the hub, the prison guard has no gun. So I'm sitting there talking to him. I said, dude, where's your gun? Oh, we don't get guns. And so I'm looking around, and at that moment, I saw a prisoner take his jail cell door, and pop it out, and then lift it up and put it to the side. And it was a defect in these doors where, and you can Google this, where they can pop them open and open them. And I'm sitting there, and look, you can be a bad boy. You can train, you can be in these fights, when you see someone who's supposed to be locked up just open the door by themselves and walk out, you find religion pretty quick. So I stared at the guy and I said, they do that often? Oh, they do it all the time. And I looked at the guard and I said, well, what happens? What are you going to use if there's a riot? He looks at me and goes, well, we can grab a couple of those bottles of bleach. I turned around, there's like 8 bottles of bleach. I said, what the hell are we going to do with them? And he goes, well, you pour it in their eyes. You try to get in their eyes. I was like, that's it? And he said, yeah. I said, you don't have a billy club, a taser? Oh, no, they'll take that away from you. Who? Oh, the prisoners. What the hell? Something goes down here, man. What happens? We call SWAT. Okay. And I'm remembering the doors, it takes forever to open. I said, well, how long does it take SWAT to come in with the doors? Oh, they're not here. They're not at Raymond, Mississippi. They're downtown. They're in Jackson? Yeah, it takes them about 45 minutes to an hour. Dude, we'll be dead by, oh yeah, we'll be dead by the time we get here. And he goes, you want to see Jermaine? And I'm sitting there like, I don't know why I'm here. What is going on here? Now, at this point, they see someone, the prisoner sees someone in a suit, and they haven't talked to an attorney, I'm assuming. So about 5 or 10 of them have popped their doors off and wanting to talk to me. And the dude screams for Jermaine. Jermaine comes to me. And then the guy takes me to out of the hub. There's a little room to the left. And it's about 8 by 8. But there's a desk and table. No door again. But it's where the attorneys meet with their clients. So I'm sitting there. And I shake Jermaine's hands. He's about 5'10", African-American gentleman, about 28. So I'm sitting there, and we start talking. I said, Jermaine, you're charged with aggravated assault. You've alleged to have stabbed somebody with a shank. He said, yeah. I go, he goes, hey, man, before we start, you might want to take that tie off. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? He said, the last guy in the tie, when things went south here, they tried to hang him with his own tie. And you just pause and... I just paused and stared at him. I said, well, I appreciate that. Start taking the damn towel, wrapping it up, putting it in my pocket. So then he goes, well, they said they have you on video stabbing this guy. And he said, well, dude, you know, that's civil issues there. I was like, well, did you stab him? Yeah. He goes, but it was in self-defense. I said, you stabbed him 8 times. Yeah, and he didn't have a weapon, did he? No. But he called me a bitch. And I'm like, dude, that's not really self-defense. He said, Brent, let me tell you this. I've been in and out the system since I was 16 years old. He said, in here, when someone calls you a bitch enough times, someone's going to try to rape you. And everyone understands that, and everybody knows the game. So when he started calling me a bitch, it wasn't because he thought I was effeminate or he didn't like what I said. He was trying to get me to be raped. And that's what happens when they call you a bitch. I just stared at him, and he said, 2, I wasn't trying to kill him. And I was like, dude, you stabbed him 8 times, but I didn't hit anything vital, man. And he pulled out his shank. And he said, I was using my defense shank. This thing's only about a 1/2 inch. This thing's not going to kill anybody. He literally now at this point screams, TC, bring me the killing shank. A gentleman appears with another shank, but this one's got a blade on it about 4 inches. He said, man, this is what we use when we want to kill people. You put it in their neck and they bleed out. They can't get back here in time for that. And I'm just staring at him. And these 2 guys have shanks showing to me. The guard has no weapons. The prisoners have 2. And he goes, look, man, I hit him right here. And he showed me where he hit him. And while he was showing me, I was like, man, please don't use that shank use my pen. So he grabbed my pen and he was showing me. He grabbed me with his left hand and he goes, man, I brought him to him and hit him in the non-vital areas just to send a message that you can't try to get me raped. And I'm sitting here and the weirdest thing happens. You would think I'd be afraid of my life because I had 2 people in there with knives that no one could, and one of them was alleged and was telling me how he stabbed another person. But we were really in there just talking. And at some point it transformed from me being scared of my life to people explaining to me how their world operated, which is so bizarre. Now, all this time, people are walking by, popping jail cells out, hearing this as a lawyer, screaming at me that they need to talk to me about their case. And, so it was still intense, but Jermaine and I was just having a conversation. He said, Hazard, if I wanted to kill him, I'd use that 4-inch shank. I've killed people before. And I sat there and I was like, okay, don't ever say that again. But he goes, you got to do what you got to do in here to survive. And I was like, what are you in here for? Tickets. And how long were you in here? 6 months. Or no, 6 weeks. 6 weeks. And I was like, and they just haven't got to you yet? Well, I can't pay the fines. And I had some other warrants and stuff like that. So we're sitting there having this conversation. So we come to the conclusion, we shake hands. On the way out, him and TC are still in there. Hey man, can you hold something? Can we hold something for you? Now, once again, hold something means, do I have any money? Now, that's technically contraband. And I said, now, the situation is, and TC was in there for holding a bank up, allegedly. So I'm sitting there looking at him, and I'm thinking, do you go in your wallet and give contraband to two people who, one charged with stabbing someone with a shank, another one charged with robbing a bank, and you're just staring at them, and you're like, I had $20 in my damn wallet. Partner, from some way, that $20 fell out my wallet while I was walking out that room. I don't know how it happened. So, because I had no intent to bring contraband or to give contraband to a prisoner, but accidents happen. So I'm sitting there, we shake hands. I go and say, well, I see a self-defense argument. I see a justification argument. I'll see what happens. We go back to court. I swear to God, I was never going to Hinds County Detention Center again. We get there. We end up in court. We go through some motions. They're going to produce the video of Jermaine stabbing the guy. Not only does the prison doors in Hinds County Detention Center not work, neither does the video cameras. Charges were dropped. Jermaine shook my hand. I still see him around every now and then. He doesn't have a car currently, so I give him a ride. We go grab something to eat when I see him around. He's still living the life, but he's trying. But that is what happens when you go to the Hinds County Detention Center, and where you never wear a tie, and why you never call another man bitch in prison. Y'all have a good one.